Bum, bum, ba bum. Yeah. I'm like doing my amateur rapper thing. I'm having a good time. I'm feeling good, feeling good. So we was in the association. We was talking about the MVP race, and we are gonna go ahead and keep it in the association. Um, I guess I'm not gonna pull no punches when I talk about this. And I say this affectionately for my people in New York City who rock with me. Man, suck my neck. Y'all out here doing anything in these basketball streets. DiVincenzo flopping. And the NBA, y'all was like, oh well, we outlawed flopping, but here it is. This dude flopped in game 1 and act like Miles Turner elbowed him, threw his hands up and everything. And that should have been a technical against the Knicks. We went ahead and hit those free throws. We would be up in this series 3-1, and we would be looking to close this out in New York, but I don't know what was going on. Then the Knicks are crying about every little thing. Oh, it's too physical. Oh, you get, and then Jalen Brunson is initiating contact when he's doing these up fakes, getting guys off their feet, and they jumping into him. And he jumps into them to create contact. And I'm like, I thought that was illegal. Per the rules committee, that is an illegal move this year. You talk about flopping, you talk about all of this stuff, and it's just the biggest crybabies in New York. I'm like, oh my God. But the Pacers blow out the Knicks to even up the series. Now, this is out of The Athletic and Eric Neem and Fred Katz. A great article. The Knicks were shorthanded entering the game, and Indiana took advantage and blitzed them from the start, opening up a 34-14 lead after the first quarter. Yeah, they only put up 14 points in the first quarter. They wasn't cheated. Nobody got over. They just outplayed the Knicks yesterday. By the fourth quarter, most of the Pacers starting lineup was resting on the bench. Yes, they were, because there was no need. There was no need to run the score up and hurt some people. I know Tuesday we got to go back up to the Garden and get cheated once again. But I told everybody this is going to go 7, and they didn't believe me. And I was like, because of the way that the Indiana Pacers play, they push the pace and they make you play uncomfortable, and then they pick you up 94 feet away from the basket. So now you have to dribble. You're used to dribbling and playing longer than you've ever played. And when these people don't tire and they can do the same thing with multiple bodies, and you don't have a deep bench to go into, that can spell disaster. Remember, Doc Rivers played right into their hands. And that's what they did to the Milwaukee Bucks. They pushed the pace on them and they didn't slow it down. And Milwaukee they had trouble playing sped up. And it looks like this is happening to New York as well, because they looked tired. And that recipe that they formed playing in a 7-game series where you're playing every other day, you're not going to have sufficient time to rest. You're not going to have sufficient time to rest. And these guys, Brunson, Hart, DiVincenzo, these dudes are playing almost 40 minutes a game. They're playing almost 40 minutes a game. Tyrese Halliburton, he led Indiana with 20 points, 8 of 15 shooting for 3-pointers. Yep, 12 points and threes. The Pacers held the Knicks to an abysmal 33.7% shooting from the field. Yikes. Yeah, it was ugly. The Pacers were more physical. They ran faster, hit more shots. They were more focused. They executed better. The Knicks just did not have anything for the Pacers in the first quarter, and that continued throughout the entire game. By halftime, the Pacers led by 28 points. In the end, the Pacers came away with a blowout victory to even the series. 2 wins apiece, headed back to New York City for Game 5. So we talked about that. And the only thing I want to sit up here and say more physical, It wasn't a physicality game. It wasn't a finesse game, but it wasn't chippy. It wasn't really physical. I mean, come on now. What I don't like is when they sit up here and say, well, Brunson is doing this cagey veteran thing. There's a couple of things that I hate. I hate the crybaby mentality. If you think that, these guys aren't fouling you hard, they're not fouling you hard at all. Or if anything, the overacting, throwing your head up and, kind of, but then you can clearly see in the replays where guys are giving guys forearms and separations and guys are trying to make shots and buy up space. Come on now. You can't have it both ways. You cannot initiate the contact and then wonder why you didn't get the foul. And we'll be back with after a quick 20 from an unofficial sponsor of the show. This is Big Vern at Ab Stupid. Drop the spot. Yes, BK, have it your way. You rule. Order online, download the app, or visit the good people at your local Burger King. Right now, you can get a breakfast hash brown for $1.49. And this is mornings, and this is every morning at Burger King when you feel free. Now only on the app. The hash browns, $1.49 on the app. Fuel up fast with a satisfying breakfast that includes your choice of a biscuit sandwich and medium beverage with a hash brown. $4. $4 also on the app. Use your rewards. You get a crown challenge. Burger King, BK, have it your way. So when we last laughed off, we were talking about the Knicks and pretty much a lackluster uh, and some sort of lackluster whatever they was putting up. Halliburton, he was a man unchained. He led the way with 20 points and 6 rebounds and 5 assists in 28 minutes. And TJ McConnell was spectacular for the Pacers with 15 points, 10 assists off the bench. It was a complete team effort in Indiana to dispatch the Knicks with relative ease. The Knicks did not get back in transition. The Pacers beat them up and down the floor nearly every time they could. The Knicks missed defensive rotation responsibilities. They failed to grab loose balls. They were short with jump shots. Josh Hart, normally the personification of Red Bull, became decaffeinated. Miles Deuce McBride could not stay in front of McConnell for nothing to save his life. Jalen Brunson could not create space. Brunson was not on the injury report, but he has been dealing with foot injury since game 2 of the series. Over 2 games in Indiana, the Pacers have roughed him up. The Knicks, a team with Hart normally runs for 48 minutes, pulled their starters in the third quarter. They did not look like themselves when they started, and they finished in a way they rarely do. No. What you saw was fatigue. That's the only pushback that I give in this article. There's a lot of pushback in this article, let's be real. What they saw was fatigue. And when you score a point or you miss and these guys are just running that ball right in transition, it makes the game longer. Your body feels like, man, I got to do more laps. I got to go ahead and run more suicides. I got to get more breath because they are constantly moving. And then when they get into half court sets, they move the ball really well. They particularly share the ball and have all of these assists, and all of these guys are cutting. It's almost reminiscent of that 2015, 2016 Gold State Warrior team. Not saying they were shooting or they're unstoppable. I'm saying from the point where the movement in between picks, back doors, up screens, guys are having great spacing when they get a guy to bite out of the defense and you can kick it out on the wing. I mean, they are punishing teams with speeding them up. And the Knicks, yeah, I'll hear that Brunson's beat up, yada yada yada. I'll hear Josh Hart, blah 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 blah. These dudes got Hart in New York City. You take them on the road and they disappear. They disappear. They didn't even mention DiVincenzo because he had nothing. Nothing. Again, inside Madison Square Garden, them dudes play like world beaters. You get them on the road. Like I said, thank God y'all got home court advantage. But if y'all lose Tuesday night, this thing is over in Indiana. So the referees better blow that whistle and cheat these small market teams because when you look at the playoff picture and how it breaks down, these small market teams, that's where the best NBA play is being dealt. If I'm a fan of the OKCs, the Timberwolves, the Pacers, the Bucks, and hell, Orlando. I mean, these are some of the best games. This is where the young NBA is. All of those old guys, LeBron, KD, Steph, and Kyrie, and yeah. I hear that. But I'm ready for that real. And these young boys is bringing that real. So, like I said, with all affection, man, suck my neck. But I'll be back. I'll be back. This is Big Vern at App Stupid.